On this week's episode, we catch back up with our pal Matty Ryan after his first win on PGA Tour Latino in Mazatlan.
Catching more confidence at the right time and all the sprayed suds from his buds after the win. Matty shares his determination to keep up that momentum.
We do get a little saucy on this one. Enjoy the conversation. Rough Fairways is next. There he is.
The champ.
The champ.
How you guys doing?
What's up, man?
I'm my voice is a little gone.
I bet it is.
The last couple of days.
You've been fielding all these requests, and have you been touring New York City and going up on the
all the late night
building,
shows?
you know?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, for my Latin American victory.
Hey, a win's a win.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. It's awesome. It's
Do you
awesome.
have your Guinness?
Huh?
Do you have your Guinness?
I drank enough Guinness the last couple of nights.
This salute, my friend. This is
Hang on.
He's like, all right, yep, yeah, that's peer pressure.
I'm out of Guinness actually. There's a Miller Lite in there. It wouldn't be right to drink a Miller Lite.
Yeah, no, yeah, whatever you want to do. But cheers to you, my friend. That's a great win, and your very first win on the PGA Tour Latino, yeah.
Yeah, first win. I lost in a couple playoffs over the years, but first win feels great. I've won like non PGA Tour sanctioned tournaments, but it's pretty cool. I mean, all the people texting me and calling me, it's been great.
Does it
remind me?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
What does the win get you, other than the big Happy Gilmore check?
I mean, it just makes you a better position to earn Korn Ferry status. Top 5, technically, obviously the top spot. You get full Korn Ferry status, get into every event. You can set your schedule. Spots 2, 3, 4, 5 have a little bit better status than 6 through 10. 6 through 10 gets you to final stage of Q school. So winning it's awesome to win, but ultimately, like, the goal is to move forward and just puts you in a better spot for that.
Sure.
And is that like on the total play cup list or something like that?
Yeah. Total play cup list. Yeah, the points list. So
okay.
I guess I moved to 3rd.
You did.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I got 2 good friends ahead of me, so I'll try to track them down.
Awesome, dude. I love to hear that. Like, I know there's friends on the PGA Tour and Korn Ferry Tour, but you really hear it in these kind of tours where it's like my 2 good friends are ahead of me. Yeah. And I was watching a couple of interviews after your win. They're like, you said, I knew this guy was going to make a lot of birdies, so I just had to keep going.
Yeah. I mean, Latin America is a very special tour for that. I mean, Blake Wagner, I've known him since he was 12. We practice at the same club here in Charlotte. Like, we're on, you're on the same plane flight back. Him and I went to Connolly's on 5th Irish pub, where I know a lot of the guys that work there. They're good friends of mine. And then the owner is incredible. So he texted us and was like, pints of Guinness. If you guys are, when you
pints
guys
on us.
Yeah, we went over there at midnight, and we were there till about 4 a.m, having a blast. So,
well, when you texted me the other day and you said I'm in CLT, I had to think about it for a minute. I'm like, wait, you're back in Charlotte already?
Yeah. I just moved back to Charlotte,
right?
Before the tournament too. I was living in Jax, but now I'm back up here. It's been great. I mean, I was here for a week and then left, and but yeah, back to the friend thing. I mean, I think I said when I was given the champion speech, like, I've friends that some of them we're not even fluent with each other, but they help you around Latin America. You help them when you're in America. And it is a very special tour for support amongst players. So it's pretty cool.
How many events are left in the season?
9 events. So there's 12 total. They had 2 in December, and we kind of did a little wraparound thing. I missed the first 2 cuts, but I went to the Q school for Latin America the week before the first 2 events down in Argentina. I played well. I finished like 5th, but then struggled during the tournaments. Took a nice long break after that. But yeah, 9 events left. So they run through June is the last event, middle of June.
Does it feel any different than you thought it would be?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I played really well my first few years as a pro, like on the eGolf tour. And, the best part about winning is, like, obviously winning is great, but like I was even explaining to someone today, like, you can take all the money. It's just like, I don't need that. It's so much fun to win a golf tournament, especially
Right.
4 rounds. I mean, we fly in Monday, practice rounds Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, you're doing all these things to lead up to win a golf tournament, and you so rarely get to win one. So, it feels a little different, I think, just because I feel like it's been a while since I won a big tournament. So yeah, it's been great. I think my phone had like 590 texts by like the next morning, and
Hell yeah.
I have no problem getting back to everyone. I love it. It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Did you feel anything different going into the week? Did you have like just a certain feel in your swing and your mindset? Just, I mean, you
yeah.
killed it. Like you shot 23 under. I mean, that's
yeah, it was awesome. I've had good vibes there before. I played there in a Q school years ago and shot like 22 under, ended up finishing second. And then 2020, right before COVID, I had played in Leon, Mexico for the Corn Ferry event, and then Mazatlan the week after, shot 6 under, missed the cut. So like I have good vibes going there. Like it's an easy week in terms of being on property. I love walking the beach. I mean, beach is kind of a special place for me. Growing up in SoCal, you spend a lot of time there. Jax, I was on the beach. So, I mean, you have good vibes and stuff, but mine honestly didn't start until probably Wednesday evening. Tuesday, I went up to my buddy Blake while we were playing the practice round. I was like, man, it has been so long since I've had fun playing golf. And then
interesting.
You've been playing great. Like, we're so close. I was like, what are you doing? And he's just like, I don't know, man, maybe smile a little more. Just, that was it. And it's like, I read a quote from VJ. It said that it was something about him changing his attitude. It was posted on Instagram somewhere. But yeah, it's weird. Like Sunday morning, I definitely felt like, all right, I'm going to win this golf tournament. I mean, it was awesome. Thursday kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, 9 under when I've been struggling. I've been putting great for the last like 6-7 months. And then just started, I decided at the start of the week, I'm just going to rip drivers as hard as possible. I'm not going to hit it once. I'm not going to do anything special. I'm just going to swing hard. And I think a lot of those swings got me I made 3 eagles and made the par 5s really easy. And after the 9 under, your first round, I mean, it's only the first round, but I think the statistic on tour is like there's a huge percentage of, if you're in the top 25 after the first round, like of being able to win the golf tournament. So I had good vibes all week. I ate dinner with the same guys nearly every night, and a lot of guys. Like Blake's younger, but he kind of learns off of us in terms of like we don't talk much golf. We just like tell jokes, laugh, and I mean, good vibes everywhere, I guess.
3 eagles, 21 birdies, 4 bogeys. You had no 6s on the scorecards at all.
6s, yeah. No 5s the first day. That was sweet.
Yeah. Well, weekend 66s are excellent. Like, you see a lot of players play well first round, second round. They're kind of, running. They play good front 9, third round, and then they just blow up and you don't see them. But you close it out.
Yeah, I mean, even at a place like this, you don't have to blow up to get past here. I mean, you can shoot 3-4 under and you're getting lapped.
Right.
I know that there are a lot of birdies out there. There's a stretch where you just have to play into the wind holes well. And the first 2 days, it was very good for a lefty because the into the wind holes were a little off the left, which makes it a little easier for us. Like Armando's left-handed. Him and I played in the final group. There was another lefty there that played well. But yeah, you just really have to keep the pedal down at that place. And luckily, my patience in the third round, I turned it 1 under, but I just knew that I was going to make birdies at some point. So I think I was 5 under in the back 9 of Saturday. So that was probably the best 9 of the week, really. I mean, Saturday 5 under on the back, pretty good.
It's really good.
Yeah, you shot on round 3, you shot 35, 31. Yeah, coming in.
Yeah. Yep. And it's funny. A friend of mine is, she's awesome. She's like, I've kind of been exploring my faith a little bit. I'm not very religious, so to speak, but like sure. I do have faith, and I was raised Jewish. I've been kind of in and out of like churches and temples, whatever. Like I'm very open to it, but I actually, like, for the first time in ages, I mean, I was saying a prayer before every round just about like different key things I wanted to feel, right? Like,
Yeah.
I said in one of my interviews, like strength, calmness, patience, and then readiness. And I wrote like readiness to strike when the iron, strike when the iron's hot, so to speak. And I just felt like as soon as I made one birdie, I was like ready to make more.
Awesome.
So yeah, it was a cool week. I did some very unique things and journaled everything. So
that's awesome that you journal it. That's the way how you learn, really. Because you're not going to you're going to kind of remember how you feel, but you're not going to remember your thoughts.
Yeah, and
of that week.
I wrote them first plane flight. I think I got through. I wrote down every round. I just repeated the whole week, and then even in the middle of those rounds, I mean, I get to like hole 9. I'm like, oh wait, I did this in the morning. So like the left side of my notebook, I don't know where it is. I can show you, but basically, I just put like quotes that I was enjoying, attitudes that I was feeling, with me and other players. I mean, that's some of the hard part down there. I mean, since you are around golfers all the time, the last thing you want to do is go to dinner and hear someone talk about bad putting or hear someone talk about hitting out of bounds on 4, right?
Yeah.
You're like, shit, dude, I got to play that 3 more times. Like,
shut up. Yeah.
Yeah. Go the next day, you're staring at out of bounds.
Leave me alone, man.
Hey, maybe that's a new backward strategy. When you have a good round, go after dinner. Like, man, I was just shanking it all day.
Yeah.
And everybody else all paranoid.
Can't get worse from here.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think journaling is really important. I mean, it's so much easier to do the right things when you play well. Like, I opened the journal immediately on the plane, just 2.5-hour flight. The first one, just wrote down everything. Next one, 2.5-hour flight, wrote down everything. Sometimes when you play poorly, you're like, screw the journaling.
Right.
Screw all the things that like you can do extra to make yourself better. Some weeks you're just like over it. So even that with winning, I mean, that is a blast to me, writing down those feelings and even writing down some notes, getting teary-eyed, like texts that I got from friends.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So you start thinking about all the different people and I get teary-eyed when things are happy and there's good joy coming out of my life. So it was fun.
Well, quit talking about that. I'm going to get teary-eyed. Sells is going to get teary-eyed. This is good stuff though. I can hear the emotion in your voice. It's great. Like, I mean, when we first met you, you had a lot of passion in your voice and we knew that you would be successful, but now after you win, you can really, really hear it. And one of your, the after round interview, you said you wrote something in your phone, you wrote your goals. And one of them was be happy.
Yeah. Be
and
happy.
like,
I forgot all the golf goals when I was in the interview.
But that's such a great, like, it has nothing to do with golf.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just be happy. And I loved it.
Yeah, I did. So I went through a divorce, but the year before all that happened, like the neuroscientist I work with, he was like very adamant, like, okay, this is going to be your only goal is your best year with her. Right. Yeah. And I just thought that was such a cool goal because normally, like, that's where I came up with the be happy one. Be happy. My personal goals are be more happy or be happy, be more private, deepen my faith with, just in general. I think that's just going to be important moving forward to me. But he was so keen on make this your best year with her. And I was like, that was actually an easy goal because you can wake up every day and work on that. Right. So now if my goal is be happy, it's like I'm waking up and I'm like, even if something happens early in the morning that could make me down, like if that's a goal, I'm reading it every day. So that's the plan, and all that comes, you're less judgmental. You're not as quick to anger. You're having more fun with people around you. I have some really close friends that are so good at that. I mean, Seamus Power is amazing at that. My buddy, Greg Eason, he's incredible. I mean, someone come to Greg and say the meanest thing ever. It never happens. And he could just be like the jolliest guy on the planet. And you're like, that's cool. I'd like to be that way. So
it's awesome. Yeah. And Seamus is having a good year too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is for sure.
Good for him.
Sounds like maybe you have some good tattoo slogans coming up.
The place I just moved to in Charlotte has like 2 tattoo parlors right down the street. And when I was in, I'm thinking, I've never thought about getting a tattoo, but maybe this is a sign.
There you go.
Just be happy on the forearm. So when you're addressing the club.
But one day if I'm at it, I'll just
hold on. I'm glad you brought up your forearms. There's this one photo Maddie, there's this one photo. You look like you're Popeye. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Maddie?
I don't know.
I mean, we know you're
vascular
jacked.
system
We know you're
is,
jacked, but like the angle of it was, I think it was the one where you're holding the trophy, and I think it's the PGA Tour Latino in the back, and it's your right forearm. This is right. Your right forearm just looks jacked. I gotta find it. It's so funny. I'm like,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
Maddie.
send it on.
It's Maddie
Send it on.
Popeye.
Yeah, send it on if you got it.
Dude,
I mean, I've been
it's so
working hard in the
funny.
gym. I've been working really hard in the gym
Yeah,
and doing the right stuff. I work with Mike Carroll, the Fit for Golf.
sure.
That's his handle on Twitter and Instagram. And I don't know. I mean, I work out because it makes me feel good. I do golf specific things, but ultimately, like, I go to the gym to feel better. I grew up playing football, baseball, and I just think it's like in my DNA to do that.
Right.
My brother's an animal, so identical twin. I'm trying to keep up with him at times, but yeah, I could thank my parents for the vascular system probably.
All right, I'm gonna try to zoom in on this, but it's just it looks so funny. Maybe you can. So it's right. Do you see that right there? Right there.
Great lighting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great lighting. That's what it was.
And then you zoom in. I'm like, is he on steroids? But just like the angle of it, it's just like Popeye, the Sailor Man, just won this tournament. It's so great.
A buddy of mine texted me, been hitting the gym, bro. Looks like you should be in the UFC. And I said, I wouldn't be able to survive that unless the fight was fixed. So thanks.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I can just imagine you at the beginning of a UFC fight. Just be happy. Just be happy.
Yeah. Then get knocked out 2 seconds later.
Man, it's
amazing. Fitness is huge. I mean,
yeah.
Blake Wagner is an absolute monster. I mean, he's going to the gym, like throwing around an absurd amount of weight, and he's springy. He's enjoying it, right? So I just worked out at a place the last couple of days with him called Ultimate Athlete up in Huntersville, North Carolina, and the guys are awesome. And the vibe in there in a good gym is like really good, and makes you want to go in there and work hard. But I mean, look around. Alan Wagner, who won in Chile, he's ripped.
Sure.
I mean, you go down the list, like everyone's working out now. It's just, I don't know. Ultimately, I think just makes everyone feel better.
Yeah.
So, golf mobility and stretching, that's all fine. But, you take your shirt off and you look in the mirror and you feel better, it's going to feel good,
Well, and even too, I mean, the mobility and the flexibility is great, but having the strength just means you have to provide less exertion to hit shots, and it's less taxing on your body, especially when you're in a 4-day tournament, not one day like us bums.
Yeah, I mean, I carried my own bag this week. I generally really like the caddies in Latin America. I mean, I like getting to know the guys. I practice my Spanish, all that, but I just carried my own because I thought I'd have less thoughts in my head. But I mean,
cool.
Directly to fitness, I wasn't even really tired. So yeah, strength is huge. I mean, that's what Mike Carroll's big on: getting strength, getting stronger, getting faster, and then your top end speed, as that increases, well, your median speed. Let's say you're like cruising, right?
Yeah.
So I was even the last day with driver. All I was saying over the ball was, all right, 126 with a red stick. That's the heaviest speed stick, and I can get it up to like 126 miles an hour. And I was just trying to like make sure that was the only thought in my head hitting driver. And I absolutely unloaded on a couple drivers.
That's awesome.
So it's great. Yeah. I hit pitching the last par 5 of the day. So
I think your driver distance for this year was like I think it was like 305 that week or something, or just this year.
I think Corn Ferry it was listed, but yeah, I'm definitely got longer in this off season. I mean, I was never short, but length can't hurt. I mean,
no.
So especially at the place where we just were, I mean, 16 is I don't even know how long hole 16 is, but I mean, I absolutely roasted a drive and had 170 and it was downwind, hit pitching wedge on the green to like 8 feet. And you're like, all right, well, that was cool.
Yeah.
Third to last hole, like that made life easy.
Golf's so much easier when you have driver wedge into, I mean, even par 5s.
It was awesome. So, that's a big part of golf now, isn't it?
So something I saw that I didn't know, I don't know if we talked about this on the last pod, and I apologize if we did, but I saw a clip of you chipping, and you chip cross-handed.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I've done that for, I think January 2015, 16 or 15. I've done it for 6-7 years.
You putt cross-handed too?
I go back and forth. Like I'm not afraid to mess with my putter grip. I can go, generally speaking, I'm going to go cross-handed or claw. I've been doing the claw for 8 months and absolutely love it. I just think it gets the path in a better position. Like when I'm doing my drills and checking my stroke and doing my maintenance, that just seems to be more comfortable.
Nice.
So,
So where'd you come up with cross-handed chipping from?
I chipped like an absolute bum for I think all of 2014, and Seamus and I were back in my hometown in Valencia, and we're sitting there chipping at the chipping green, and he says, I mean, the yips are a dangerous word. I didn't have the yips. I just didn't feel good. And as soon as he was like, why don't you try hitting a couple cross-handed? And literally the first shot I hit, my hands almost felt like they were standard, and I chipped in. And I was like, that's cool. Went played all day, never picked up the club standard to chip. And I've maybe hit 3 standard handed chips in as many years.
Right. Wow. So is that just green side? Like where do you transition to cross-handed?
Yeah, so I kind of tell people if there's a chip action, I'm chipping cross-handed. So, at times, I'll grab a 50-degree, let's say there's a 65, I have 65 yards to a back pin. I might grab a 50-degree and hit like the biggest I can go chipping wise, right?
Right.
Chip versus a pitch.
Yeah. And the chip, right, you're kind of like centered and do. So I have a 62-yard 50-degree that I can hit.
Wow.
But generally speaking, that would be, again, like back pin can't go long. I want to see that ball move to the pin, not down on top of it and come backwards.
Sure.
But generally I have a 54-yard cross-handed sandwich, and I have a 42-yard cross-handed lob wedge that I can hit. But other than that, I'll go standard if I'm hitting like a bunker style shot from the rough. Like
right. You got more release in there.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'd say my bunker game is exceptional. So that's standard. I've never messed with that. It's totally different action than chipping. So yeah. You can't be afraid to try some stuff. As soon as I went cross-handed, like all the thoughts and feelings that weren't feeling good went away because I'm so focused on the new feeling.
Well, and I know what you mean by like you just switched and it just felt so natural, because I switched. My putting grip is still a traditional, lead hand on top, but I changed which hand overlapped which. I was just messing around one day and I was like, oh, this feels so much better. So now I have my lower hand on top overlapping. Yeah. And I just, same thing. My distance control was better. It took something out of the one hand that was overactive. And
yeah. My old coach, David Ross, he used to say, hey, sometimes you got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
Right. Sure.
And Nick Bradley, my coach, is really good on that. I know, like on the brain side of things, after working with a mentor of mine who's a neuroscientist, like why that is. But I don't want to give too much away to tell everyone. But your brain works in waves, and your EEG is basically like your resting heart rate for your brain. And the more active that is, the harder it is to have good feels and transfer what you want to do to your hands. So sometimes when you make those changes like that, all it's doing is lowering that EEG, so to speak, or allowing you to be more agnostic, more present. So I was talking to Luke Kwan on the putting green. He's like, you're putting cross-handed again? Because I hit like 2 putts just again to switch up the feel. Yeah. And he's like, man, you're never afraid to change that grip. And that's why though, right? Again, getting uncomfortable to get comfortable. Stop thinking about all the feelings.
Like a little reset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sure. and if it feels uncomfortable, it's probably because it's correct.
It could be. Sometimes when you're like, Nick will take pictures of me after I'll get into a certain like position, let's say in a chipping setup or a putting setup, and Nick will take a picture of me, and as soon as I see the picture, I don't feel uncomfortable anymore because it looks right.
Okay.
But if no one took the picture, let's say I'm a little leany or something.
Right.
My weight's on my front side. Well, even when I get to 50-50, to me, it's going to feel like I'm not 50-50. It's going to feel like more weight's on the left because I thought I was 50-50. So snap the picture, show the student, show whoever you're helping, and it just kind of like, oh, that doesn't look weird at all. That looks great.
Right.
And you're good to go. So,
Do you consider yourself a field player or like a technical player? Because I'm hearing a lot of technical stuff here, but I'm just curious.
I'm definitely a field player. Definitely. Yeah. Like, I think you can go through phases where you get a little more technical. My technical stuff is generally all setup. I know if I can get my setup down in my putting, my chipping, how I address it. Nick always refers to it as like a calibration. My swing coach is hilarious. He uses some of these words sometimes that you would never hear in golf, and it just fits perfectly. He's like, you calibrate a rifle and you pull the trigger. And like he said, when you're chipping, imagine that as your setup, and then all you have to do is pull the trigger. So I would be technical when it comes to like maintenance on my setup, stance, alignment, posture. But when it comes to swinging the golf club, nah. All week, the best feeling all week was literally I was just target oriented. I just hold the target in my head and feel exactly the shot I wanted to hit my hands and go. That was it. Didn't think one mechanical thought at all. So
good.
Yeah. But some guys do great with mechanics. Mechanical thinking.
But for you, like you said, it's about having the proper foundation to then become a field player.
For sure. And I think some of it comes from how you were brought up. I mean, like I said, I was brought up playing so many other sports that I think when you're on the more athletic side, I think it's much easier to be a field player in golf as opposed to like just a golfer growing up.
Right.
Just a golfer is going to be more mechanical. I think athletes, I can pick up a football and throw it 40 yards and hit a target just fine. Like now.
Right.
Well, I practice golf every day, and somehow I can't even hit a chip sometimes or hit a 7-iron in the number that I want. And it's like all that comes down to is too many mechanical thoughts, at least for me. If I started overanalyzing how I threw a football, I'd probably start to throw it terribly. So
right, yeah, oh yeah,
paralysis by analysis, really.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where I'm at. I think guys who play a lot of sports growing up are much more on the field side than the mechanical side.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So you're in Charlotte for a little bit. What's next?
I'm actually flying home to see my family tomorrow. Originally, I was supposed to play the Bakersfield Open out in California, and I was going to stay for the weekend with my family. But I missed my flight 8:05 on Sunday. It was just there was too much going on with like winning the golf tournament.
You mean there was too much alcohol in your system? I get it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't let you. I missed my flight. They wouldn't let me on the flight.
Yeah, we got it.
Before I take one sip of alcohol, I get on. I'm like, all right, let's make sure I book the new flight for tomorrow. So I find an American flight from Mazatlan to Phoenix to Burbank, and I'm pumped. I'm like, oh, this is working out perfectly. So show up I was flying to Tijuana at 8:05 the day before, and just walking across the border with some guys to go to Bakersfield. Well, you didn't need a COVID test. So I booked my flight. I get to the airport and they're like, oh, what flight are you on? I said, I'm going to Phoenix and destination is Burbank. She goes, that flight left like 2 hours ago. I'm like, excuse me? And I look at my phone. I booked it for May 12th. I don't even know how the date, like it wasn't the day, not wrong month. And I'm just like, you've got to be
That's
kidding.
Not even near February, whatever.
So then I already had a round trip ticket booked to Charlotte. I couldn't cancel it, so I just kept it, and I was getting on the other one to California. Yeah. And so I'm like a little hungover, and I'm just tired. I'm like, you know what? I'll just go back to Charlotte. I'll sort it out later. She goes, okay, do you have your negative COVID test? I was like, oh, crap. You had to take one the day before to come back to the U.S., but I didn't because I was flying to Tijuana. So I ended up stuck in the airport, got tested in the airport, was sitting around, barely got in time. So, didn't play the Bakersfield Open. They were awesome. Like I told them it was hectic and it was COVID related, and they refunded me, and it was awesome. But
I love it.
Yeah, home till Monday. I'm gonna go see my brother, some buddies, and my parents, and then I get back to Charlotte. I'm gonna be here for a week. Go play a 2-round tournament in Florida, and I'm going to go watch Seamus at the Players.
Sure.
And then back for a week off to Argentina. So Argentina's March 19th, I leave.
Yeah, I was just trying to find the schedule for your
Yeah.
next cup or for your next tournament. I can't find the damn thing, but
I leave March 19th. We have a tournament in Termas del Rio Hondo, Argentina. The week after is Cordoba. And then we're back for, I think, 10, 11 days. And then we go to Brazil, Peru, Ecuador, 3 in a row.
is there anything like a battlefield promotion? Like, you know how the Corn Ferry Tour, like if you win 3 events, you get automatically promoted to KFT?
Yeah, 3 events, you automatically get promoted, which for the Latin season this year is huge because
sure,
the Latin season ends in June. So
yeah,
if you're going to win 3 times, it's probably going to be before June. And
good.
the Corn Ferry Tour is rocking and rolling.
Yeah, so, good start. Winning.
You may not get too many events, but you'll have the last handful, and you get to play the next year. And I think they started that last year, maybe the year before.
Okay.
Didn't have it for a while, but that's a new golf goal. It's hard to win, but
yeah. Well, you can't win 3 by June if you don't start in February. So
yeah, that's right. And I got, Cordoba. I've played well there. Sao Paulo, Brazil, where we're going, a place called Fazenda Boa Vista. Played well there. Lima, Peru, Ecuador. I've had good rounds in like the next 4 of the next 5 events.
Good feels then, yeah.
Good feels, and when you go back to a golf course and you've had good weeks, you see pictures better, right? I know exactly where I'm going to hit it off the first tee in Cordoba. I know exactly where I'm going to hit it off the first tee in Quito. Even playing some of the Corn Ferry events, like when you go back to places that you've played, it sure makes things a lot easier. So,
are you going to continue no caddy?
I don't know. The guy that I traditionally use in Argentina is awesome. His name's Joaquin Duarte. He's caddied for me probably 6-7 events, and I've played very well with him on the bag. He's older guy, quiet, great green reader. So, and I think it's nice. I mean, you build such a nice connection with the country. Like when I lost in a playoff in the Argentine Open, Joaquin was on my bag, and there's like 50, 60, 70 people that are really there to watch me because of Joaquin. So I think having a caddy, having a caddy is really cool. I mean, it's $50 a day. I think the rate is technically 40 or 45. I give everyone $50 a day, and tip them at the end of the week if you play well. But even then, I mean, each day is getting a tip. In Brazil, I had a guy that was great. Lima, Peru, I'll definitely have a caddy. One of my favorite people in the world caddies for me there. He's an absolute legend. I mean, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe in Termas, if it's flat and I'm feeling like, that was a nice thing I did, I'm going to carry my own. But I actually said to Austin Hitt at the start of the week, he said, "Are you carrying your own this week?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "But there's only one guy out here that's won a tournament since caddies have become optional carrying his own bag." And it was Pat Flavin, who's a really good friend of mine. He carried his own bag through the first few rounds of match play and then got a caddy for the last 2 rounds and won. So Austin had texted me yesterday and he's like, "I guess you can throw that theory out the window."
It's like who do you hug, right? Like you sink that final winning putt and you're like, yeah. I mean, it was there are a few videos going around that I need to get some buddies to send me. I had guys that came out spraying me with beer or whatever. And in the video, I kind of go like this because the night before I told him Blake's like, if you win, I'm spraying you with beer. I was like, that's the last thing I want. Please don't do that. And then sure enough, they're all standing there like they look
just
like
ready,
going to
ready
flag, and I just like, all right.
Nice.
But after that, I mean, I was getting a little choked up because I'm generally a friendly person. I love that players can reach out to me to ask me questions, flights, hotels. Have you been here before? Like I thoroughly enjoy that some guys lean on me to help for that because I know when I first started playing, it was great to have a buddy of mine, Michael Buddha-Cavoli, help me immensely.
For sure.
I walked off the green. I'm on 15 green, and all of a sudden, there's maybe 20 guys out there that I've played golf with over the years. And I was just like, I cannot look at these guys right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just such a cool thing. I thought I was only leading by 1, so I kept the head down. But after they sprayed me with beer, walk off the green, and I'm just like, I must have hugged 25, 30 guys. I mean, it just meant the world to me, like all those guys sticking around and doing that. So,
because there's no leaderboards there, are there?
yeah, they actually had standard bearers for.
Okay, so you knew where you were.
I don't pay that much attention to scores, especially when I'm playing well.
Okay.
I feel like in e-golf days at Q schools, I've medaled at first and second stage at Q school, never looking at a score until like the last few holes. Q school is not as important to finish first, because if I finish first at second, I'm just as good as the guy who finished 19th.
Yeah.
But I have these things that I do when I've won tournaments where they seem to work. I checked Cristobal Del Solar. When he's coming off 15, I'm going to 13 T, I think. And it said 22, and 15, 16, 17, 18, you can birdie all of them and potentially eagle 16. So I was like, all right, if he's at 22, I was at 23, I bogeyed 15, I'm at 22. So I was just thinking like, okay, let's just assume he's birdieing 2 of the last 4 holes to get to 24. So I kind of had my head down thinking that, like, let's just hit good shot after good shot and go from there. And then on 15, I hit a pitching wedge like 30 feet long, 2-putted. And I think Nicolo Galletti or Josh Lee or something said, hey, nice par. And I remember thinking like, that's weird. Like, it's not the nicest par. And that's when I thought like, okay, maybe I am leading this thing. And I pulled up my phone and I saw 23 for me, 22 for Cristobal. I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
wait, while you're playing, you just like, you checked your phone, like you're walking to the next tee and you're.
Yeah, you can check the leaderboard.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love it.
First time I checked the leaderboard all week. I mean, I never looked at a score all week. And I look at it and I'm like, okay, he's 22 under through hole 16 now. And I'm like, all right, got to keep it going. So I absolutely just laced a drive on 16 and hit it to like, I think it was like 10 feet for eagle. I hit like the worst putt I've hit in like a year. I left it short in the jaws from like 10 feet. And I just kind of laughed. But another guy said like, all right, good birdie. And that's when I knew like, okay, something must be weird here. So 17 is you need to really hit a good shot on 17, par 3. And after 18 T-ball, I asked Jose Garrido, the rules official, what's the leader in the house? And he said 20. And I started smiling. Turns out Cristobal's score was put in wrong on 16. So
there you go.
Yeah, 20. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I look at the standard bearer to make sure. I'm like, I'm 23 for sure, right? And I was just like, I was smiling the whole way up to the next shot. You start running through thoughts in your head of how many people have been there for you, and you start thinking about your speech. And if I had a 1 shot later, I was tied, I wouldn't be doing that. But
right,
shots, I'm like, all right, only way I can make triple here is this.
Yeah, because you shoot 31 on the front, and you eagle 10, so you're 7 under.
Yeah,
and then you bogey 11, par, bogey 14. I mean, after 14, are you thinking like, shit?
Yeah, after 14's a birdie hole, and after 14, I just thought, oh crap.
Yeah.
But I was cruising through 10 holes, absolutely cruising. I missed a 5-footer on 9. Hit a good putt, missed it, and then I hit this 2-iron from like 243. It's actually one of the highlights, but it doesn't quite do it justice. It was I told some guys like only a lefty could have hit the shot, because the wind's whipping off the left. You got a pin that's back left, kind of like on this like skinny tier.
Yeah.
And if you're a righty trying to draw it into that wind and you overdraw it, the wind will not hit it hard enough. If you're a lefty, I'm kind of slapping down on a 2-iron trying to hit a fade. And all I thought was, I can really hit this as like cutty as I want. And the cut's soft enough to where the wind can bring that ball back.
Right.
I absolutely laced it. Nice high fade. It's in the air. And I'm thinking in my head, like, oh my God, that is so pure. And the wind props it up, lands it softly. I mean, I think it probably landed like 30 feet, went to like 12. And that's like a shot that's a shot I'll hold on to forever. I mean, I have this Titleist 2-iron that I use as a driving iron, but it's an actual like T200 iron. And it has just been the most useful club a new club I've put in the bag in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of 2-irons. I've had the same Mizuno driving iron for probably 12 years.
Nice. Yeah. I had a hybrid for a little. But I mean, the reason I went to a hybrid is because they didn't have standard 2-irons, just a regular CV 2-iron.
Right.
And they had the big like driving iron, and I would just hit this thing like it'd carry in the air like 250, and it would have no spin and just roll. So I had no control over it. So I went to a hybrid, and then I think in June playing the Forum Tour, I called the Titleist rep. I was like, I need to get a 2-iron. And I was like, is there any way I can get one of the like non-professional iron, like an MB or CB that is a real iron in a 2-iron? And he just built this absolute weapon.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great. So I was cruising through there. When I bogeyed that birdie hole, I was kind of kicking myself a little bit, but again, just drew back to things written in my yardage book. Pressure is a privilege. The patience, the calmness. You know, if anger is only hurting me, so that's something I've always struggled with. My attitude.
Pressure is a privilege. I like that.
I was just going to say the same thing, Mike. I love that.
Yeah, it's funny. I had it in my yardage book written down.
Where'd you come up with that?
My best friend Steven texted me that morning.
On Sunday?
Sunday, yeah. He said,
Okay.
hey, Maddie, remember pressure is a privilege. Lean into it.
Damn.
You're one of the best ball strikers out there. Just believe in yourself and just remember pressure is a privilege. And so like, all day it's like that we've talked, he's caddied for me at, Steven, we've been best friends for a long time. Played junior college golf for a year together. And he's caddied for me at stages of Q School tournaments when he can. I shot 61 with him on the bag at final stage of Corn Ferry qualifying years ago to get a full card. And he knows the game, right? He almost knows my game better than his own. And we talked like, you want to feel pressure, because if you don't feel pressure, you're probably finishing 40th or missing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, pressure is a privilege. It was great. I wrote it down in pencil in my yardage book, and the Latin, Herman, the media guy, he goes, hey, can you write it in Sharpie? And I want to take a picture of it. Sure enough, I'm like running around like crazy taking pictures. I write it in Sharpie. I misspell privilege. So like I get on Instagram. I'm like, oh my God.
No.
Yeah. And I'm like, I had it written right in my yardage book in pencil.
That's hilarious.
Maddie Ryan, terrible speller, really good golfer. That's fine.
Well, I think pressure is a
cool.
privilege is a better tattoo idea than happy thoughts.
Yeah, not a bad one. Not a bad one. I had a few texts.
Just make sure you spell it right before they tattoo it on you.
Yeah. A close friend of mine, she texts me and she's like, I'm absolutely dying right now because like it's like a big pet peeve of mine of having like typos, and lately I've just been on a roll of having typos, and she just sends like cracking up right now, and I'm like, oh.
Right.
Yeah. So just a disclaimer, I did spell it right when I needed.
Eventually, right.
Has traveling gotten any easier with COVID? I know COVID's kind of on its way down, but I know you got to test. I honestly don't even know what all the testing is for in and out of the country, but is it?
We have to get one into America. We didn't need one to go to Mexico.
Okay.
When we went to Argentina, we needed one within 72 hours. Yeah, it's a hassle. Like I don't care, vaccinated, not vaccinated. Like I think everyone can do what they want, but
sure.
As my personal opinion, it is very frustrating to have both vaccinations, the booster shot, testing every week, and that you still have to test and you still have to wear a mask. Like, and I get it. I have no problem putting a mask on. Like, that's fine with me if that's making the world a better place, but that still doesn't mean I can't be frustrated.
Sure.
It does make travel harder. You're breathing in hot air on a 9.5-hour plane ride to Argentina.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like,
brutal.
you can't wait for the airline stewardess to come around with like a water, and you move the water as long as you can. Like you just
little tiny sips.
Yeah, mask is
Guzzle
brutal.
it.
But, it's fine. It's easy. Chile had the best, like the most security I've seen. You had to get tested when you landed, straight to the airport, wait there for 8 hours, and you got like an alert on your phone that was basically like it was a moving pass, they called it, and you scanned it into every restaurant and every bar and every restaurant, every hotel. You didn't need it going to a bar, but it's getting better. Coming back to the US, you have to have a test within 24 hours. That's a bit of a hassle.
Yeah. I mean, and the timing of it all too, like shoot, you just won a golf tournament and you're so plastered that you can't even make the right flight reservation.
No.
Go ahead.
I wasn't plastered.
Sorry.
This was
Okay.
pre-plastered.
You're pre-plastered.
Yeah, I was joking with Blake today. Someone said like, you get after the beers Sunday, and I was like, to be honest with you, me, Barrett Kelpin, Delon Raffiolu, Blake, Dykes Harbin, I think I'm forgetting. Oh, Sam Anderson. I mean, these boys were drinking when they got off the golf course. So they came out, they're coming to hole 15. And I see Blake, he's got his sunglasses on. I see him out of the corner of my eye, look at me all funny. I'm like, oh my God, these boys are already drinking. So I mean, it's almost like you don't have that much time to drink. Like Shintaro Bond brought me a beer and I'm like, I have to go, I do the interview, do the speech, sign my scorecard, take pictures. I mean, by the time I had like my first beer, it's got to be a couple hours later. They had a blackjack table set up, sitting there, staring right out in the ocean. It was awesome. And I don't play much blackjack. And Dykes Harbin is like, get over here, man. Sitting down and playing blackjack. Put $100 down. All the guys on the table get wiped out. I make 190. I'm like, what a day.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, what a day.
I love it.
Yeah, I really didn't get that drunk Sunday. I was just, I mean, again, I was exhausted. I didn't even want to go out. I mean, Dykes basically like forced me to go out.
For sure. There's a lot of emotions.
Yeah, loved going out. We had a great dinner, went to this cool club. It was awesome. I had an absolute blast. But if you're doing that and you're drinking, like I want to remember all that.
Yeah,
so, right.
I got after it pretty good here in Charlotte at Connolly's. I mean, that's my spot. I've been going there since I moved, and the owner is incredible. I've made so many good relationships there with like some locals, and one of my best friends in Charlotte works there a little bit and plays, and that's where I wanted to really like have a good time. I think Blake and I put back like 16 Guinness on Sunday night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Remind me not to drink Guinness with you guys. Maddie, I'm in Athens, right?
Oh, that's right. You moved.
I'm in Athens. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, I mean, Charlotte's just right up the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's see. Directions to Charlotte.
Hours, maybe 5 hours.
Gosh, I think like 4 or something like that. I was just working for myself, but I actually decided to be an idiot and get back into the golf industry. So I'm going to get my PGA.
Oh,
Class A. Yeah. So I got a job at a golf course and everything. So I'm working for the man again. But I guess my point is, if you're ever in this area,
yeah,
or if I ever make it down to Charlotte, or
yeah, absolutely,
I may. So I work at a private club called the Creek Club here in Greensboro, and I may go to the Masters this year.
Oh, nice. I may too. I may go on Saturday. Dykes Harbin might get a ticket for me.
Okay,
So.
If you let's be in contact, but and then maybe the Players. I thought about going to the Players, but.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was in Athens last year for a Form Tour event. Athens was way cool.
Yeah, I think they have,
and
they have some events in Savannah, don't they?
Corn Ferry does, yeah.
Corn Ferry, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot, you're only three and a half hours away, right up up I-85.
You can play around the golf and
yep.
Some games.
So, Sells, the only question is, when are you coming?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, Maddie, when you're at the Albertsons Boise Open, then Eddie has to fly out.
Oh yeah,
true.
Because that's where I'm at.
I need to win 2 more times out here, and then get to that thing.
Oh, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
So you finish top. Do you have to finish top 5 to get your Corn Ferry Tour card?
Top 10. I mean, top 10 gets you your Corn Ferry card, but that's because you get to go to final stage of Q school.
Okay, so okay.
The top 5 have better status. 1 is good to go, and then it kind of goes in a ranking order through Canada, Q school, and different categories for the Corn Ferry, where it'll go like 2, 2, 2, 2, right? 2 at final stage of Q school conditional, 2 at Latin America conditional, 2 Canada conditional.
Okay, and
that's how they kind of like work the category. So if you finish top 3, you're probably going to play Bahamas, Latin American events. Maybe top 5 gets into a couple. This year they did, because Columbia's 2 courses and some guys didn't travel because of COVID.
Sure.
So yeah, the higher you go, the better. So
of course.
Yeah, head down and keep going. So that's the plan.
That's awesome, man. That's so good. So we have you going back to kind of like how the fraternity of the PGA Tour Latino and like you helping new guys out here. A friend of the show, his name is Grayson Huff. So if you see, so he's PGA Tour Latino, this is his rookie year. If you see him, give him a slap him on the butt or do whatever you guys do on the tour. But we've had him on the show twice now.
How does he spell his last name? Huff?
Huff, yeah.
Let me see. I bet. I mean,
and
you
give
see it all the time.
give him give him tons of hell for us.
Oh yeah. I met him briefly. I don't really know him.
Sure.
So one of the guys that I had dinner with one night, I think is close buddies with him. But yeah.
He was so I know him from Boise days. He was in high school, really good player. I was at a course working, and he would always practice there for his high school. Would always practice there. So give him some hell. He's a really good kid. He played for Auburn.
Gotcha.
So
all right, nice. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, some of my closest friends have come out of helping them when they first started going there. Latin America, Korn Ferry, whatever. And Pat Flavin, what an unbelievable dude. He's the best. Him and I are buddies, and that's kind of how we first hit it off. I mean, on the putting green a couple years ago or 2019, whatever it was in Latin America, and met through a mutual friend. And I think Pat rattled off like a bunch of questions to me, and we've been friends ever since. So again, it's not just me. A lot of the older guys take pride in that. I mean, Alan Wagner hosted one of his best friends, Tommy Gonzalez, used to play like a little bit Argentinian guy, but now he just works. He caddied for Tano Goya in the first four Korn Ferry events. He flew out to Mexico to caddy for Alan. I mean, he hosted me in Argentina for a week during the Q school. And it's just, I mean, Alan set that up for me. It was incredible. I mean, I had one of the best weeks of my life, basically listening to Spanish all week. I said, like, you guys don't need to interpret everything because I want to be around it. Right. And went to local spots in Argentina that I would have never found, met all these cool people. Pilar Golf Club let me hit balls there one day after my morning round. I mean, it's not just me. I mean, some guys like to stay in their own lane. I mean, some guys will literally operate on their own. They're staying at a hotel by themselves. They're eating by themselves. I'm just not that way. I grew up with a twin. I love team sports, and I know golf isn't a team sport, but it
is off the course.
Yeah. I like networking with people. I like making connections. And I mean, Alan Wagner helps guys out. All the Latin guys are so cool when you go to their country. Juan Carlos Serrano gave me a recommendation for a restaurant in Mexico that we ended up not going to because we just couldn't sort the taxi. And, guys, we're going to Guadalajara coming up. A few guys have connections to Guadalajara. Hey, let me know if you need any help traveling, booking anything. So, it's just a unique place. I mean, all the Latin guys know how it feels to be in America and be uncomfortable. And I think that's where they pride themselves on helping us when we go to their countries. They just love it. And I think I've just I've really bought into that from my first trip down there in 2014 to actually Guadalajara. So it's been like that since I've played the tour. It's great.
That's exactly why Mike and I started this podcast, is to meet guys like you, talk to guys like you, and share your stories when you guys typically would never be heard, really.
Yeah. I mean,
and to see what it's like, down there, and to see what the camaraderie is and the friendships are and the stories is that, the PGA Tour is always going to be king. You're always going to hear about those stories, but man, like Mike and I, we love these kind of, and that's why we're friends with you. And we want to know your stories and why you guys play golf and the struggles that you guys go through and the pain and then the jubilations of winning. And
sure. Yeah.
It's just, that's why we do this. So it's really cool to hear that and to be able to share it with all of our listeners. I don't know
Yeah.
how many there are, but there's enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and-
It's the tour doesn't. I mean, you've heard a lot of guys come out and say some pretty bad things about the tour. I mean, the tour,
Yeah.
I've said this since my first year playing in Latin America. I think the officials, the rules officials are spectacular in Latin America.
Yeah.
John Slater kind of leads the way. I think his official title is like head tournament official. I mean, I just think he's an incredible rules official. He if you didn't wave at him or say hi, he just blends right in with the trees. You need something, he comes up. There's this is the rule. This is what you get done, right? Like Claudio Rivas is kind of the player liaison. You email him, email back immediately.
Love it.
Jose Garrido used to play, Colombian guy. I actually talked to him a little bit about, this is years ago, playing Corn Ferry, about some of the mental stuff I was going through. Again, you see these guys over and over, and when you're in a foreign country, you're just a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
Corn Ferry officials are great too, but they're all in the same system, right? Like they've all been officials on these other tours as well. But I just think John does such a cool example of like, you're not friends with him, but you're friends with him, right? I think officials, it's a tough balance sometimes between getting too friendly with guys maybe, and still being like the authority figure, for lack of a better way.
It sounds like a family to me. It really does. Like with the players and the caddies and.
Yeah. Like I felt like the rules officials that were there that week, I mean, I can tell that they were genuinely happy for me. And I think that's just a very unique thing. We're sitting at dinner with them later, and they're on the bus ride I saw them before I went to the airport. So yeah, it's cool. I think the tour, so what I was getting at, I don't think the tour does a great job in some spots. I think they could give a lot more information to help guys out. They almost leave it up to some of the veterans. They don't leave it up to the veterans. I think the veterans choose to help other guys, but
Sure.
I think purses can be bigger. It's hard to win down there. It's hard to compete. Canada, Latin America. But we're not bringing money in, right? The tour, the tour's getting purses jacked up, and players are getting paid for having a full membership once they hit a certain amount of events. And they're not going to do that for Latin America, Canada, and whatever. We don't bring in money for the tour. So, but man, when you go to these countries, they sure have a lot of pride in these events, and it is so much fun. The city of Mazatlan, like the amount of people that were there, it was fantastic. Quito, Lima, Brazil. I mean, when you go there, it is cool. I mean, it is really, really cool how excited these countries get to host a.
And you can't put a price on that. That's great. That every place that you guys go to shows really, really good support.
Yeah, they do, and it's funny in Mazatlan because it's more of like you have so many Canadians living there, and you have some Americans that live there, and I made a joke to one of the volunteers. I was like, "You are the tannest white people I've ever seen." You're doing a scoring, and they're speaking to you in English, and they're like the tannest people I've ever seen, because they're down there all year hanging out.
Right.
But they have a great community down there. I mean, they were so much fun. I got pictures with a few of the people that I've seen over the years. One lady took a picture of me years ago after making a hole in one, sent me a video, and I saw her this week, and she was like following me the last day, and it's really cool. So the tour, in that sense, I don't, that's not the tour. It's just people like meeting people and
the culture, yeah,
supporting people, yeah. So it's great.
I love it. I mean, Maddie, we could go for hours and hours on conversation, and I have so many more questions, but I don't want to keep you.
I'm chilling. I'm whatever. If you guys have any other questions you want to ask, go for it. I'm not up to much.
Mike, did we do rapid fire last time with Maddie?
Oh, I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Maybe.
I do remember.
Do it again if you want.
We were favorite club in your bag.
Oof. I mean, right now the 2-iron.
I was gonna say right now it's got to be the 2-iron. Yeah.
At the moment, the 2-iron is pretty sweet.
Dog leg left or right?
Depends when I'm hanging off the tee. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I hit the ball pretty straight, so give me either one if I'm playing in a tournament.
You just hit it over the corner.
Yeah,
That's what the answer is. What I'm hearing.
You want to play in high winds or rain?
Wind all day. Love the wind.
Fuck that! No way, dude.
Oh yeah.
Why?
Because I'm a low ball hitter, so
I hate the wind so much. I'm not a good wind player. That's why I hate the wind.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, so the wind for me is I think the wind it helps me create a picture for the shot that I want to hit. I find it very, very hard sometimes to like see a ball flight when there's no wind. If I got wind off the right, wind off the left, into it immediately just programs exactly what I want to do and how I want to hit the golf shot, and I can see it clearer. So that being said, I can hit the ball low when I want to. I wind all day for sure.
Gee, all right. All right. Do you play a draw or fade? I think it's a fade, right?
Lately I've been drawing the irons, hitting the driver pretty darn straight. I honestly, I'd say maybe a draw bias lately. I was a fade for a long time. I didn't intentionally try to keep the draw around. But the thing I was working on in my golf swing, the draw has just been much easier to hit lately.
Sure.
But pretty straight, honestly. Pretty straight.
Mike, ask your rules question.
Oh yeah. If you can change one rule in golf, what would it be?
Striping it down the middle and being in a divot is the worst rule.
I think we did talk about this because that's
is the worst rule ever.
That's exactly what we talk about actually almost every time.
Yep.
My job is to hit it down the middle of the fairway.
You're right.
And not only are you in a divot, some of the young guys don't really kick in divots anymore. They didn't get taught that. So, some weeks you don't replace, depending on the grass, you don't replace the divot. I took I took so much earth out of one shot.
Stake divot.
Driving one into the ground the third round, and I went and got the divot because I thought, oh man, if someone's in that sucks.
Oh,
it's
sure.
Not to grow back, but yeah. I mean, what Chris DeMarco went in the Masters that one year, like stripes it down 17,
right?
And he's in
versus
a divot.
Tiger.
Yeah, and you're like,
yeah,
he did what he was supposed to do. Like I just hate that.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, in every other scenario, the lie is repaired for you. You repair divots
like
in the green, you break bunkers,
Yeah. The worst part is when you have like an into the grain, you have like a collection area near a green and it's like into the grain and the guys will be in the practice round, boom, 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 hitting chips. Okay, now there's 4 divots, right? Into the grain, balls are going to roll there. And then you get there and like no one's kicked in the divot. It's just the area is just shredded. So in that sense, if you hit a shot and you're in a collection area and you're in a divot, well, whatever. But striping driver down the middle or hitting a 2-iron in the fairway and in a divot, that sucks.
It still boggles my mind that there are so many golf rules.
Yeah.
And there's so many like scenarios and gray areas.
Yeah. And it's quite funny.
It's stupid. I mean, golf.
We were getting drops from ant piles this week. There were these like fire ants that you were getting drops from, right? And you're
right.
Like, oh, missing a while. What's the rule here? I can't remember.
Yeah, like where's the rule for
That's the old Bubba Watson burrowing animal argument that he had.
Yeah, and then Bryson with the.
Yeah, what's funny with the divot thing? I'm actually great at hitting the ball out of a divot.
Are you super steep?
I get super steep when I can, when I want to. So, but that's not good. I don't want to be any more divots.
Right.
Well, we know you like Guinness. Here's a silly one. Finish this sentence, Matty Ice. Without golf, I would be.
In my younger days, I would have said I'd be in the military. Now that I've gotten older, I'm not sure. I have a love for police work, firefighting, military. It's in my family, so I think the world of those people. So I have I carry it in my golf bag. I have 2 things. My dad's tag from when he was in Afghanistan says Ryan, like the camo tag, and then I have my necklace broke, but I have a necklace where I wear a St. Michael that my dad had when he was in Afghanistan, and my brother had it when he was in the Navy. It's a protector of military police. He's a St. Michael, like one of the saints for religious stuff. So, but yeah, now I don't know, to be honest with you. Hopefully working a job where it involves teamwork and being around a good group of people. But yeah, I wouldn't work in a golf shop. I can tell you that. I don't have that in my DNA.
Could your twin brother show up on the first tee and say, yeah, I'm Matthew Ryan?
He could fool some people for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
If he wore the Travis Matthew gear and all that, yeah, he could fool some people.
You need to do that.
Wait, are we talking to him right now?
Yeah. Who are
sending him in for the podcast?
Maddie?
Yeah, there you
Hey,
go.
I guess
You need to do that. Just sometime. Just
I've had too many Guinness. I need you to hop on.
In a hit and giggle event. Be like, now on the tee, the 2022 Mazatlan winner Matthew Ryan, and then have your brother just be like, yeah, what's up?
To be
Is
fair,
your brother left-handed?
yeah, he's left-handed and he absolutely smokes the ball. So
There you go. Does he
Yeah.
out like everything, like beard and everything?
when we have the same facial hair, we look exactly the same. I mean,
I love it.
same haircut, same facial hair. I actually, a couple years ago, I was home for Christmas, and he's a Beverly Hills police officer, actually. And he had a mustache.
There we
going.
go.
I went to a New Year's party with some friends, had the mustache for a costume. And I went to the station the next day, and we looked at each other. We're like, oh, crap. Everyone was like, whoa. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Maddie,
You finished that sentence very well, but yeah.
hey man, we'll let you get going, but man, I really appreciate you coming back on. We love you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
We're really happy for you. Proud of you. I mean, we really consider you a friend, and
Yeah.
thanks. Sooner or later we will play golf.
Yeah, sounds good.
We'll get sales over here. We'll go to Boise. We'll play somewhere. But if you're ever in Atlanta, Athens, you need a place to crash. You're playing a tour event here. You're on the Corn Ferry Tour. My wife and I, we have a bed for you, so we will host you. We'll have a 6-pack of Guinness ready for you. Miller Lite.
I don't drink during tournament weeks.
Oh, okay.
Well, this will be for after when you
Well,
win.
right. So I'm
Yeah.
just being proactive.
Happy thoughts.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
the happy thoughts, be happy and everything.
Yeah.
So
One of my
Guinness is a privilege.
Guinness is a privilege. That's true. That's true.
One of my buddies at Connolly's, his name's Ronan. He goes, he was joking around, and obviously I'm celebrating with all those guys. It's like, what changed? And I was like, you know what? After I was here for a week, hanging out with all these guys, I was like, man, you know what? I'm not having another sip of beer or alcohol until I win a tournament.
There we go.
And he goes, well, you must have been thirsty then.
Perfect. Rough Fairways is produced by Eddie Dunn and Mike Sells. Our thanks again to Matty Ice. What a great win. 23 under for your first win. That deserves a few drinks. Thank you again for listening. Next week, Charles Huntsinger, Mackenzie Tour player. Until then, I'm Eddie Dunn. For Mike Sells, we are Rough Fairways. Be kind to each other.